Hi everyone, you can call me Psycho, and today I'm doing something that I haven't done at all on my channel before, which is talk about Mario Kart. And given that I've talked about this game 3 times, I mean not talked about it at all, you could probably tell I'm a pretty big fan of the franchise, and I care about it quite a lot, because usually when I'm going to make videos about things, it's usually not like, oh, this just would make a good video, or oh, this was just something that's easy to talk about. Like, yes, this is very easy for me to ramble about for a long time, but it's also something I want to dedicate time to making videos about, so it's something I care about, and that's why I wanted to make this. I was definitely part of that hype train, and also all the controversy that surrounded this game, that the community kind of went through, and just the Nintendo community and the gaming community at large, with how big this whole situation with this game got, and to the point where now, like, we're kind of just in it. We kind of just have the game now. Like, yeah, sure, some people are still probably upset about certain things surrounding the game and its release and the Switch 2 and just Nintendo in general right now. It's especially like around the release of the Switch 2 is kind of a toxic environment, unfortunately. But as you could tell by the video I made, it didn't affect me at all. I was still having a ton of fun with the console, and I still am. I have it right here. Been playing it a lot. It's still probably my main console, just like my Switch 1 was. And I've been really enjoying it. And if you want to hear my thoughts on the Switch 2, 1 week after it dropped, you can check that video out. It's the longest video I've ever made. I don't know if this video will be as long as that one was, because it's just one game, but I did touch briefly on Mario Kart World in that video. And if you can't tell what this video is already, I mean, you know, because you clicked on it, but I haven't addressed it yet here in the intro, because this is just another rambling kind of video, because I do enjoy making those. So I just wrote down a bit of notes that I may or may not follow. I might be like Hiccup when he's writing Toothless for the first time and he has his cheat sheet and he just throws it out. That might be me in the middle of this video. We'll see. But I do have notes that I'm going to go by. I have a little outline. Things I want to talk about with this game, because I've been thinking about it a lot. I talk about it all the time. May as well just sit down and record some of it. But anyway, Mario Kart World, and this is the part of the video where I would usually hold up the game case, but I don't have it with me right now. This game was very, very exciting. I talked about it multiple times, how excited I was for it, and how I cried when I saw the trailer for the first time on the Switch 2 Direct. And I kind of knew going into it wasn't going to be my new favorite Mario Kart, but I knew it was going to be a really cool experience, because we've waited so long for a new Mario Kart game. I mean, I personally haven't as much, because I haven't been playing Mario Kart 8 as long as everybody else has for over 10 years. But that's one of my favorite games of all time, and that's why I dedicated a full video essay to it. And that game meant a lot to me for a lot of different reasons, but also it's just a really fun game. And I feel like that is the best Mario Kart. Like, that is the definitive Mario Kart game. And we really didn't need a follow-up to that. You know, I think that's where Mario Kart World was a little bit like, yes, this is exciting, but I don't know if we need a new Mario Kart. It's still really cool. I think what the thing about Mario Kart World is you needed to justify adding something to the franchise. You can't just be like, oh, this is just the next Mario Kart. You know, they needed to do something with it that was new and was different and unique and stood out. And even if that, like, played into its detriment, which I feel like it did. But this idea of this open world Mario Kart, which is what was so exciting about, oh, this is Mario Kart World. We're getting an open world Mario Kart. Like, that's what everybody wanted when they first saw, like, a few glimpses of this game. We're like, let's do open world. Like, that would be really fun, like a Forza Horizon game or something like that. And it's not quite that. Like, Forza Horizon is cool because you can drive around all these different locations and start up online races and run into other racers in the open world, and it just has this connected feel to everything. Mario Kart World is really cool. Like, the open world, I've spent so much time just driving around, just drifting and tricking and doing whatever I feel like doing, because it's just so easy to mindlessly do. But it's also so beautiful to, like, immerse yourself in that world because it's so detailed. And I think that when we're talking about, like, this game getting revealed and that idea of this open world, like, that's what was exciting about it. Is like, what could the people that made Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which was already a gorgeous, like, beautiful experience of game, what could they do with an open world version of that, where you don't just see, like, the backgrounds of these, like, gorgeous tracks that they did in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where you're just like, man, I wish I could drive over to that part of Cheeseland or whatever and explore that. Like, now you can. I mean, Cheeseland isn't in this game, but you get what I mean. Like, these tracks that have, like, these fleshed out worlds surrounding them, like, you can actually go and drive and explore them. And that's kind of what it feels like. And that's where it's kind of like, when you have this open world that is like, oh, you can go explore instead of just being stuck on the tracks, there's still not really anything there. You know, it's not like other open world games like Breath of the Wild or something where you can explore these areas and like there's all these different side missions and characters you can meet and stories and quests and all that. No, it's just you just kind of drive and you might run into a P-switch mission, a question mark panel, or a Peach medallion, which I have written down here because I wanted to talk about. Those are the three collectibles in the game. The P-switch missions are kind of like, if you're familiar with Mario Kart DS, the extra mission mode that everybody loved and wanted to see come back. I don't really know why. It's like, it's fun in this game and it works really well in this game. It felt really tacked on and weird in Mario Kart DS. And me personally, like, Mario Kart DS is one of my favorite games ever, and it was my favorite Mario Kart before Mario Kart 8 Deluxe grew on me so much. But mission mode was never the appeal of that game to me. You know, I don't go into a Mario Kart game because I want to do boss battles, you know. Luckily, there's no boss battles in Mario Kart World, at least not that I can remember. But these P-switch missions, they do give you an incentive to explore and give you something to do in the open world. But all these things kind of feel like an afterthought. It feels like they were like, let's make a Mario Kart game with an interconnected world where every track is connected. And rather than like building it around the idea of an open world, they kind of built it around this idea of like, what if you have to drive from each track? Like, you can tell that's something they're really proud of, considering that they don't want to even let online players play any other way. So I think that really is like the central idea of this game, is that idea of like all these tracks are connected and you race from each one to the other, right? Instead of, this is an open world Mario Kart, because it's really not an open world game in the traditional sense, which, like, if you're talking about these collectibles, the only ones where you know where they are, kind of, is the question mark panels, because they're in each course, and so it tells you how many are in each course, so you know, oh, I need to search around in this course. And now they finally updated it to where the Peach medallions and P-switch missions, which you had no way of knowing where they were, now it marks the ones you've already found, so you kind of know where to rule out. But I still think it would be better, like, when you think of a game like Mario Odyssey or Donkey Kong Bonanza, which are two incredible Nintendo games that are, like, I would say, not necessarily open world, they're more have these open kind of zones that you can explore. They give you the option to purchase maps and things like that that can tell you where to find all of these collectibles. So if you really are dedicated to 100% in that game, you can explore the world and find all these things, and it'll tell you where they are, which is still extremely time consuming. I think it took me nearly 100 hours to 100% find every single banana in DK Bonanza. So that's what I mean. It's like, you still will spend a lot of time, even if you tell the player where all these things are. They're still going to spend tons of time in the world. So I really don't understand why they're so, like, averse to doing that in this game when they do it in their other games. But yeah, I do really enjoy the open world. I don't want to get that kind of misconstrued. I do really enjoy it. I think the main thing I enjoy is, I've talked a lot about how I loved the time trial mode in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but really in all the Mario Kart games, and just being able to replay tracks without, you know, other players or, you know, CPU opponents. Instead of it being a race, it's just you and the clock. I really enjoy that, because then you just get to enjoy the driving mechanics. That's what the open world is, but I like it even more than time trials, actually, because what I always wanted and what I always thought in my head is, like, instead of having to redo this every 3 laps and wait for it to load in and count down and start the race every time, like, I'm just driving against myself. Like, can't I just, like, infinitely drive around the track? Can't you just, like, load the track in and have me do that? And you can do that in Mario Kart World. Now, it's, like, a little different. It's a little slightly altered from the version that you would play in a race or a time trial. But you can just infinitely drive around the same track over and over again and learn it that way. And I feel like I've learned the tracks in this game so much quicker because you can do that. And I've spent 130 something hours in the game, and most of that is, yeah, just me driving around and exploring. It's great for listening to podcasts. Side note, most people probably wouldn't care about that, but a lot of times, like, I want to listen to a podcast or something, and so I'll pop that in my ears and be like, well, I want to do something while I listen to the podcast. Why not just take a drive in Mario Kart? And so I do that, and it's a blast. And that's what I think is really cool about the open world is, yeah, it kind of feels like an afterthought. It doesn't feel like they want that to be the core game mode, even though that's really what someone like me would want, someone who loves Mario Kart and loves open world games. I would love to have a, like, proper open world experience with Mario Kart, but it's not quite that, but it is a great kind of, like, passive, like, secondary part of the game, and I think that it's something that's really enjoyable, and it's an interesting place to take the franchise for sure. And I think that's what the franchise needed at this point in time, is not just another Mario Kart 8. I think we really needed something that would push it somewhere else, even if it's not necessarily as solid of a game as Mario Kart 8. Mainly when it comes to, I guess, the gameplay structure. We'll talk about like the deeper mechanics of it, but the gameplay structure of Mario Kart has always been select a track or select a Grand Prix and then race through the tracks, 3 laps at a time. And like this has kind of been talked about to death at this point with this game because nobody really likes the idea of driving between the tracks as the sole game mode. I think it's really fun as a secondary thing. I think the problem is there is no option online to just be like, hey, I just want to do 3 lap tracks. You have to go to the Discord, which I've been using, and it's really a really great way to do it. And I would highly recommend checking out the official Mario Kart World Discord if you're looking for a way to play just traditional Mario Kart 3 lap tracks. But still, like, that's such a loophole, and a lot of people are like, I just want to sit down after work or after school or whatever and just play a few Mario Kart tracks. And like you can't really do that in Mario Kart World. Like you're doing either like a Grand Prix race, which is racing between the tracks, doing these long ass intermissions, or you're doing a knockout tour, which takes like a half hour to do, which is really fun, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But it's not quite the same as like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where like you're just like, I just want to play a couple tracks, and then you just hop online, it loads in, all the little Mii's are standing around on the globe doing whatever, everyone's spamming, I'm using tilt controls, and then you get in, you do a race, and you're like, man, I lost, that fucking sucked, and then you do another one, and then you win, and it's like, oh, that was fun, I'm gonna go eat dinner now, or whatever. Like, you can't have that little like quick in and out kind of experience, I guess, or at least it doesn't feel quite the same because it's not the quick, fast-paced, like, memorable feeling that you get from a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe track. It's like, oh, this is a cool track that I raced on for 1 lap, and now we're driving to the next one on this long-ass line that, like, it's usually, like, a fairly straight line, very little turns, and it's really not terribly interesting. It's kind of fun, right? Like, if I can enjoy driving around the open world, I can enjoy driving on an intermission track. But when I'm wanting, like, a competitive online experience, that's not terribly fun. It doesn't really lend well to that. And I think they kind of, like, killed a lot of the competitive aspect of the game with that. I mean, the more casual competitive, I guess, which usually are antonyms, casual versus competitive, but I would consider myself a casual competitive, I guess. Like, I've never been, like, super hardcore into, like, the competitive scene or anything like that, or, like, doing actual competitive Mario Kart with, like, MMR and whatever that stuff is. That's way out of my league. I just enjoy playing the game, and I take it somewhat seriously to where I want to win and get my VR up or whatever, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was perfect for that. Like, the way that game worked, and Mario Kart World with the structure of it is a really fun casual experience, but like for a casual competitive who doesn't necessarily actually want to join competitive lobbies, just wants to play somewhat competitively in a regular online official way, yeah, it's not quite there. And I think that's where the game kind of failed. But maybe I'm wrong because it seems like people are still really enjoying like using the Discord for it, and I've really enjoyed doing that as well. But yeah, I think that's part of what makes Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like, it's the more definitive realization of all the mechanics of Mario Kart and the structure of Mario Kart, rather. And Mario Kart World is kind of a different direction, so it doesn't quite hit the same as something like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But let's talk about the things I do really love about Mario Kart World, which we've already talked about, the open world, which is an absolute blast. I love exploring it. I think the driving mechanics are great. I think like it's super smooth. It feels kind of bouncy, I guess. Like the game overall has a very like cartoonish look to it, and it kind of plays into the game mechanics as well, because like every time you do a drift, like you're doing a proper like bounce and then sliding into it, rather than like the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it kind of feels like, yeah, you hop, but you hop and then you land in your drift. Like it feels like a real like slide kind of maneuver in Mario Kart World, and it feels like everything has this like tactile feel to it, where you can jump and bounce onto walls by charging a jump, you can grind on rails, you can do all these different mechanics that just work so seamlessly together and work so smoothly, and I think are really cool. But it's a lot more complex than something like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which some people might not like as much, but I think it's really cool, and I see why this game has absolutely blown up. Like with the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe community, I've seen so many people like from that community like immediately jumping over to World and like enjoying it way more than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because the techniques you can do in the game are so much more like complex and like flashy and exciting, because you can do all these crazy jump tricks and wall grinding and rail grinding and all this stuff, and you can do anything like that in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but people still loved that and optimized the hell out of that game. So I think Nintendo kind of recognized that, like, people love like shortcut techniques and things like that, and even if we don't put them in the game intentionally, people are going to find them. So let's just go all in on this because they knew that that was going to make for a fun game. The Mario Kart community would eat it up, and they are, and it's really cool to see, and I've been enjoying like following some of that. This whole video is basically just comparing it to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'm still at this point recording this. I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to title the video. I guess I probably will, but it's basically the only thing you can compare it to because it is the last Mario Kart game, and it's the best Mario Kart game, probably still, in my opinion. Very smooth and satisfying, but very rigid at the same time in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which makes it so that the techniques you have to pull off are very precise. Not necessarily more difficult, but very precise. So it's a little harder, I think, in Mario Kart World to pull off the techniques because everything is so smooth and so seamless and so fluid that it almost like you don't realize what you're doing, and it seems like there's a million different ways to approach every situation, which is really fun. But I think what's cool about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is like maybe Mario Kart World will get like this later on, but it's still a very early phase in the grand scheme of things. But Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was cool because it was like you can just look up like what the best version of like this time trial is or whatever, what the best technique for this track is, and you will know exactly how to do it. You just watch how they do it and you'll learn it, and that's kind of like how precise that game was. And Mario Kart World feels a little less precise because there's just so much variety in that gameplay that makes it different and makes it more difficult and less satisfying, in my opinion, at least at this point. Like, I feel like maybe once I get the hang of it a little more, I'll like it better. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about the driving mechanics. I think the tricking and stuff is really fun, and that's part of what makes the open world driving so fun, is because you can just bounce and drive and grind on all sorts of surfaces and rails and things like that, and you can just do that for hours. And I think that's part of what they were counting on as well, because they knew like, well, we kind of, if we want people to explore the open world and we're not for some reason going to give them anything to do in it, really, let's make the mechanics really fun, at least, so people will want to just drive around and try out the mechanics. So it definitely worked, I think. But yeah, since we're kind of done talking about the driving mechanics, we can talk about the graphics briefly, which I said in my Mario Kart 8 Deluxe video that I thought it was one of the best looking games of all time. And I think going back to it after Mario Kart World and on the Switch 2, maybe I was like a little wrong. Like, I don't know if I just had rose tinted glasses on for it or whatever. I mean, I still think it's really impressive that it looks as good as it does today, considering when it came out, which was over 10 years ago. But it's not like, when you look at some of the background details and stuff like that, especially trying to run it in handheld on the Switch 2, it's like it's running in 720p, but it's on the 1080p screen, so it looks really pixelated, and it's like, ugh, this doesn't look as nice as I remember it. And it looks better once you have it like in docked mode, but it was kind of rough to go back to it after Mario Kart World, because everything in Mario Kart World is so detailed and so well thought out, to where like it's kind of like something like Breath of the Wild, where like they know what to have rendered in where, and so it just has this immersive, detailed experience, like whatever you're looking at, but it's also seamless as you drive between the different tracks, which is really cool too. But yeah, all the background details and everything is like filled in and feels real and immersive. And when you go back to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, like there's literally basically like cardboard cutouts of characters in the stands sometimes, and it's like, oh, like come on, like really? But also it's a Wii U game, so you can't really blame it. But yeah, there's just things like that where you start to notice the holes a little bit more when you go back to that game after playing the new one, which right now I want to say Mario Kart World is one of the best looking games of all time, but like I said that about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and maybe that didn't age as well, and that was only a few months ago. But I still think Mario Kart World is like gorgeous. They go for a more cartoony art style, which I really like, the almost kind of like gritty, realistic, like sci-fi vibe that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe goes for. I think all the character models and everything look great, and the lighting is great in that game. Mario Kart World, it's more cartoony, but it feels more detailed. Like I said, like it feels more detailed, it feels more immersive, and like they understand how to polish it and have everything that needs to be polished, so whatever you're seeing at any given moment looks great. And yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is not quite there. Like it was almost there, so there was room for improvement, and I see that now that I play Mario Kart World. But yeah, I do really love it. I love the way all the characters look. I love all the animations, the lighting, the environments, like everything is like gorgeous looking. The vehicles as well. Yeah, it's very, very cool what they managed to do with the game and what the Switch 2 is capable of doing in terms of Nintendo games. Over time, I've become like less excited about the idea of the Switch 2, because I just come to realize like it's not really anything new. Like, the Switch 1 was really cool when it came out because we had never seen anything like that. We've never seen like a portable home console type thing, especially from Nintendo. And now we see those things all the time. Like, there's PC handhelds and there's the Steam Deck and there's all sorts of things, and we've had the Switch for so long that, like, it's not as exciting to just have a home console to go. Even one this powerful, we've had ones that are more powerful if you want to spend a lot on them. Like, this isn't cool new technology anymore. But it's still really cool in terms of Nintendo games, because we've never seen Nintendo push their games this far before. And I think that's what makes it still somewhat exciting and cool, is when Nintendo puts out their first party games on it, like Mario Kart, like Donkey Kong, and like Metroid coming up, and we can see what they're able to do when pushing their games forward in terms of hardware capabilities. So I'm excited to see where it goes, especially for whatever the next Mario title is. But yeah, for Mario Kart, this is huge, because like we never would have been able to see something like this on the Switch 1 that looks and plays this good. Beautiful looking game. Better looking than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I will admit. Probably the best looking Nintendo game ever made. Alright, so I've been recording for a while at this point. I only have a couple more points. Like, I've covered a lot of it. This is what happens. Like I said, I just kind of threw the notes out the window and just kind of rambled. I had a structure planned, but it didn't really work out. So I'll touch on a couple things that I already mentioned, but I'll also talk about one main thing that I haven't mentioned yet, which is the way the character unlocks works, which was like what I was saying before, once again, that like the open world, there was so much more potential for it that it didn't quite live up to. The idea of this open world is like, why is there not like a fun way to unlock the characters through the exploration in the open world? Like, this is what I mean by, like, there's so little incentivization to actually explore the open world, other than the driving mechanics are really fun, so it's fun to just kind of fuck around with them in the open world. Like, there's no actual point to it. Maybe you have to collect Peach medallions to buy characters or buy outfits. Like, the way the character unlock system works is either you unlock the outfits by eating food that you get in a drive-through, which is like fun, but there's no like definitive way to know like, oh, this is where I go to get this outfit, this is where I go to get this. Like, you kind of have to like figure it out. Like, certain foods will like give you certain outfits, but you can't always figure out exactly where to find them. You have to repeat the same process for each character, and basically what it's like is when you find a new food that gives you a new outfit, you have to try that with every character to see if it gives you a new outfit, and it just kind of becomes a slog doing that. And I did that. I unlocked all the outfits for the characters, but I still haven't unlocked all the characters, because the enemy characters you can only get if Kamek transforms you into them during a race, which means there's no way to like properly collect these characters, because you have to be in a race and be lucky enough for someone behind you to pull this item and throw it, and then for it to be in the correct area to transform you into this character that happens to be one that you don't have yet. Like, there's still ones I haven't unlocked at this point, because it's just so like stupid. Like, why would you do it like that when you have this open world that's so fun to explore? People are already going to want to explore it. Incentivize them to explore it by letting them like find the characters or buy the characters through the open world. I know that there was the update where they made it so if you picked like the enemy characters up with the UFO, then you become the character, and that's another way to unlock them. And they like boosted like how often the UFO will show up, but that's still just as like stupid and convoluted as trying to get someone behind you to use the Kamek item to transform you into this character, because you have to be like driving around and just happen to find the UFO that's in an area that's close enough to the exact enemy character that you haven't unlocked yet. Like, it's very frustrating, and so I just kind of gave up at a certain point. Like, I'm just gonna unlock the characters naturally the way they wanted me to, I guess, because I'm not gonna do, like, I've looked it up, I believe it was in a Nathaniel Bandy video where he like queued up a split screen race and like changed it to like only Kamek items and just spammed it over and over again in different areas. That sounds miserable, and I don't want to do that. I would rather have fun, so I'm just not going to do that. So yeah, there's just a lot of characters I'm missing that I would like to have. Like, I think yesterday, I unlocked Swoop for the first time. Like, I didn't even realize I didn't have him. I just assumed he was part of the roster. But yeah, I never had him, and now I have Swoop. So like, that's the most frustrating thing, I think, is the character unlock system. It is very frustrating. There is a large character selection. It's also dumb because they count each outfit as its own character. I don't really count that. I think this is like the most funny character roster we've ever had. Like the freaking cow is in it, you know, like Swoop, as I just mentioned, is a playable character. Just random things like that like doesn't need to be in the character roster, but it's really fun that it is, and like no one's complaining about that. I mean, I will complain that Diddy Kong is not in the game, but I assume he's coming later. But yeah, I just think it's really fun, a really good character roster. I think the outfits, like you can click X to sort the character selection screen so that you have like all the characters' outfits next to the character. But like, why not just have it work like that? Where like in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where like the characters had different colors. Link had like his classic outfit and his modern outfit that you pick from after you click on the character. Just have it do the same thing. Like, have it do that with all the outfits that you unlock. Like, it's just really weird that they're like, oh, let's make it look like we have more characters in the game than we do by making each outfit take up its own separate character slot. Like, that's just kind of weird. Like, there's no need for that. I guess it doesn't really hurt anything. It just kind of makes it harder to find which character you want to play as, because you have to scroll through all the different outfits. And yeah, and then if you don't sort them, they're all just jumbled up together instead of like being with the proper characters. I didn't realize I felt so passionate about the character selection screen. But yeah, if I was going to say a way to update this game, especially once they add new characters and outfits, don't have the food be the way to unlock the outfits, because I think that's kind of convoluted. And definitely don't have Kamek or the UFO be a way to unlock the new characters. I think they should absolutely remove those as ways of unlocking characters and outfits and add something new, add a different mechanic into the open world that makes it fun to explore, and maybe give a reason to some of these collectibles beyond just being collectibles and have a reason to use them. Like even in something like Donkey Kong Bonanza or like Mario Odyssey, like the more moons and bananas you collect, like you can do things with them. Donkey Kong Bonanza, you can't fully upgrade your skill tree without getting a certain amount of bananas, or like Power Moons, like you can't go to certain areas without getting a certain amount. So like there's reasons to do that. There is no reason to collect all the Peach medallions or do all the P-switch missions in Mario Kart World. There is no reason to do that. So like, why would I bother? So I just gave up on trying to do all of them. You have such a wide range of characters and unlockable characters, things like that. Have a way to unlock them in the open world. That would be really fun. So yeah, to wrap up, I guess I could talk about the price controversy, because that was such a big thing, and the idea of $80 as a base price for video games was kind of introduced with this game, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think games are going to go up, everything's going up. I think that's kind of a weird thing that people are throwing around right now, especially like with the current economic situation, especially in the US right now. Like people are throwing around like, oh, this is more expensive, oh, isn't it so dumb that this company made this more expensive. It's like every fucking company is doing that right now, guys. Like this is not new news, and you're just choosing like the weirdest things to complain about, like, oh, this game costs $10 more than I want it to. It's like, okay. Like, I feel like if you're really, like, passionately angry that you have to pay $10 extra for the next Mario Kart game, maybe you just don't really like Mario Kart that much. You know, and I don't want to sound like a shill or whatever by saying that. Like, oh, just pay the money. It's like, no, but, like, I get it, and I will criticize, like, I don't think this game is necessarily, like, the game to bump it up to $80, you know? I think they wanted to frame it as that, like, oh, you have this big open world, and it's such a huge game. It's like, no, there's really not much more content, if more content at all, compared to other Mario Kart games. It's just different, and it's made to look as though it's a bigger game, to try to justify bringing the prices up. I think this was going to happen eventually anyway, and I think spending all this time complaining like, oh, I have to pay $10 extra for the game, it's like, it's $10. You know, if you don't want it, you probably didn't want it in the first place. And, you know, that's where I'm like, why are we complaining about this game being so expensive if, like, you didn't really want to buy it in the first place? Like, that's just where my brain goes. It's just like, if this is such a non-essential thing. Like, I love Mario Kart. It means a lot to me. You know, this is the third time I've talked about it on my channel. Like, it means a lot. But that means that I'm willing to pay $80 for it, you know? That doesn't mean that I'm going to sit around and complain about it and not buy it, because then, like, I probably just didn't actually want it that much. And there are franchises and games like that where I think I really like them, and then it gets to a point where it's like, well, now you got to pay this much for it. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess I didn't really like it that much anyway. You know, I didn't like it as much as maybe I thought I did, because I don't want to pay that much. I want to wait till it goes on sale. And I guess there's the problem of Nintendo games never going on sale, so this game's probably always going to be $80. So I think that's kind of an interesting talking point, but it's been talked about a little too much, so I wanted to save it for the end instead of, like, you know, rage baiting people, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I talked about the Discord community. I'm just looking at my notes again. I think it's really cool that they kind of came together, and it is really fun to just kind of be in a Discord channel with other Mario Kart people, you know, who are willing to go into the Discord just to play 3-lap tracks. So when I'm not in the mood for a knockout tour, which I didn't talk about much, but I think we all know what knockout tour is at this point. It's like a battle royale almost, where like 4 people are eliminated at a time. It's very fun, but it takes a long time because you're doing so many tracks in a row. Definitely check out the Discord community if you haven't. It's really easy. Like, people just post the codes in there and you can chat with them while you race and stuff like that, and it's a blast. So I recommend checking that out if you're ever not in the mood for a knockout tour or a Grand Prix race. Definitely check that out. And yeah, like I said before, I think the definitive Mario Kart experience, like the ultimate realization of what Mario Kart has always been from the beginning, is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And I think, like, if you're just wanting to hop in for a few races, a few fast-paced 3-lap races around a track, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the perfect version of that. Mario Kart World has some of that in it, but it's really not the focus of the game. It is kind of a different kind of Mario Kart, and I think that's what the franchise really needed. I think that's why it's really fun and why I've spent a lot of time in it, but it's also why I don't think it's necessarily the best Mario Kart. But I said the same thing about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I feel like, looking back, my Mario Kart 8 Deluxe takes didn't really make sense, and I don't really know why. I still was adamant that DS was the best one, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is much better. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still probably my favorite Nintendo game of all time, and this hasn't quite dethroned it yet, but maybe in the future it'll grow on me more. But I already love it. I think it's awesome. I think if you haven't bought it yet, and you've watched all the way to the end of this video, you're probably interested in it enough to buy it. So if you got $80 lying around and you want to spend it on Mario Kart, it's worth it. It's a lot of fun. When I say it's worth it, I mean, if you're going to play it as much as I've played it, you'll get your money's worth out of it. But if you're not the biggest Mario Kart fan in the world like I am, maybe it's not worth $80 to you. And I could definitely see that, because like I said, the content doesn't really justify it. But I think every game's going to be $80 pretty soon, so it's really going to be kind of an irrelevant point. I really have been enjoying this game, and I wanted to make a video about it for a long time, but I just never really gathered my thoughts on it. And judging by how rambly this video was, I probably still haven't really gathered my thoughts on it. But hopefully once I edit this down, it'll be watchable and listenable. But if you want to watch a video of me talking about games for even longer with 3 other guys who also like talking about video games, this is the perfect time for me to plug my new podcast that's actually going to be going up on this channel on November 1st. So I wanted this video to get out before it, because I wanted the chance to plug it in a different video before it went up. The podcast episode is going to be about 2 hours and 45 minutes long, but it's called the Ludonarrative Dissonance Podcast. Me and 3 of my friends, Tyler, and Michael, are all going to be, we all recorded it already, actually. I say going to be as if we haven't already done it. We've already recorded it. I even talked in that podcast episode about how I was going to make a video about Mario Kart World. Funny enough, this is going to be coming out before that. But, we've been thinking about doing it for a while. We've been working on it. It's just about ready to be released. We're going to start doing them every month. It's just us chatting about video games. The first episode is us each ranking our top 3 favorite games of all time. Spoiler alert, a game I have mentioned several times in this video is on my top 3. So if that sounds like fun, something to listen to, something to put on in the background while you play Mario Kart or whatever it is you like to do when you listen to podcasts, definitely check it out. We really enjoyed making it. We're still working out some of the bumps and different technical issues and things we don't really know how to do yet, because none of us have ever really run a podcast before. But we're having a lot of fun with it. So definitely check that out. November 1st. We're going to try to get it onto actual podcast platforms as well. For sure, it's going to be going on this channel. Might be going on Michael, the Zoo Boys channel as well. And we might even make a whole separate channel for it, and check Apple and Spotify for it as well. Hopefully we'll get it on there. But for right now, thank you guys so much for watching me ramble about Mario Kart. I hope you really enjoyed it. I love these games. I love talking Nintendo. I'm going to try to make more videos like this, maybe some more scripted ones, because I'm realizing this one was way too rambly. I don't want it to be this off the cuff every time. Or maybe I do. I don't know. We'll see how this one turns out. I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.